I'm going to be looking over this way where my big screen is, so apologies for that. Hi, my name is Cheryl Bond. I'm one of the co-founders of 27K. We have created automation for custom patterns in the apparel industry. A little bit of my background, I've been in the outdoor performance industry for about 20 years, and in 2020, I left my job and started Made Outdoor, which was one of the first fully custom made-to-measure outdoor apparel brands in the world. We had a lot of success, a lot of awards. We're in across marketing. We were really well received. We were creating totally made-to-measure product, made-to-order production, reducing waste, and we had 100% size inclusivity, and that brand is still operational. When we built this brand, we experienced a lot of challenges with the pandemic and a delay of about 18 months when our materials were late to be delivered. And so in that time, we were looking at our systems and how we could scale the brand bigger in the future. And this is our rough tech stack of how the custom made to measure system was working. And we were utilizing technologies in pattern and design, in configuring in 3D, with measurement tools. There's lots of really great technologies on that side there. And then we noticed this really big glaring box of emptiness in the pattern automation, which was actually one of the most labor intensive parts of the process of creating made to measure. So we built our own software for that, which is now 27K. In that time, we realized that there are, as you can see, I've got the wrong edition of my desk, my deck. This should be logos, not articles. But we realized in this time around then that it really wasn't just us. Since about 2014, there's about 2,000 articles on McKinsey and across WGSN, which is the largest fashion forecasting service in the industry, that is saying that custom is the future of fashion, that we need to do this to solve issues with consumers, with waste, and with a lot of other things that are affecting the fashion industry. And a lot of brands are trying to do that. So you have Unspun creating custom in denim. You have Nike creating custom shoes and Jimmy Choo. And then down here, even Amazon has taken a crack at the made to measure and made to order system, which they've actually discontinued for precisely the reason that I highlighted earlier, is this glaring gap in the pattern automation side. While we were building our technology and we had all this great success with Made, all of these brands reached out to us and said, hey, how the heck are you doing this? Can we use your technology? And that's when we realized that we were really onto something with the technology that we were building, and that this was a really huge opportunity to push this forward in fashion. It's a really big issue that custom can solve across the industry. The UN estimates that about 30% of all apparel that's ever sold or ever created is never sold, which is about 700 billion in unsold product. About 45% of online products and apparel are returned due to sizing and fit issues, which is about 368 billion. And over 68% of the North American population is over a size 14, with almost no brands making product in that size, which is a huge opportunity at about $200 billion. So it's an incredibly big problem that brands are trying to solve. And there's these gaps that we're filling in. We're focused on three target verticals to drive demand, being in custom motorsports that are already doing custom in this space, PPE for search and rescue, firefighting, and medical, as well as fashion brands that are already creating custom product is our initial ICP. We have a few clients already, which I'll talk about a little bit later, but I want to highlight just a bit about the process. So the top here is the current process that it takes a brand from the order of a customer, all of the things that they need to do to make this product into a reality. So they take time processing the order, they have to measure the customer, and it's about 8 to 15 hours in pattern. And then they even have to go through and send stuff to production. With our technology, they can do all of those things instantly with just a quick check before sending to production to make sure that everything is finalized. So it's about a 975% reduction in time to manufacturing. Our go-to-market strategy is in 3 phases. Like I said, we're focused on the first 3 target verticals in motorsports, PPE, and custom fashion. This is where we're focusing our pre-seed raise and building our foundation. We'll be then expanding into phase 2, which is focused on inclusivity for brands that are not currently doing custom, but are going to be using our software to increase their size inclusivity without the risk of additional SKUs. And then positioning ourselves as the market leader in this and moving into broader market as the fashion industry adopts more globally. We're a B2B SaaS model with 3-pronged revenue. We have we take an onboarding fee where we do some manual onboarding with the brands to get them set up for automation. This timeline is about 2 to 6 weeks right now, but will reduce as we build our software for more automation on the front end. We charge a platform fee, which is a monthly recurring revenue, and then we have a revenue share that is 2 to 7% of the product based on the product category. So we grow as our customers grow their market as well. We are set to achieve, this is, doesn't have my actual numbers on it. Sorry, there should be more there. So we are set to achieve about 500K in revenue by the end of 2024 with the partnerships that we already have in work, and scaling up to really robust growth by 2026 at 6 million with our partnership numbers estimates and growing from there. As I said, we have some partnerships in work right now. We have 4 committed brands, including Made, that are already using our MVP software. And then we have another 21 conversations that are in various stages of negotiation to onboard to the software as we grow. We're a team of experts across apparel and tech. Myself, as I mentioned, my background is in product development, in apparel, so I really understand all of the things that the brands are going to need on this side. Dustin is the owner of a creative marketing agency and has been in the outdoor and performance industries for over 25 years. Chummy is our CTO, who has previous startup experience in software in Silicon Valley. And then we have a really strong board of advisors with advisors, 3D Look being our measurement partner, Drew Green being the CEO of the largest custom apparel brand in the world, and then John Horoff in performance with Knix and Arc'teryx. We're raising 1 million to scale and meet the growing demand and be positioned as the leader when the global apparel industry does make this pivot. We're focusing that on expanding our existing internal MVP to a full enterprise software with integrations to fashion brands' existing tech stack. We are going to be focusing on customer acquisition, positioning ourselves as a leader for motorsports and PPE, and then we'll be achieving 3 million by July 2026. The future of fashion is custom, so we really hope that you'll help us automate it. Thank you.
Great job. You had 8 minutes, Cheryl, so great job. Yeah, getting there. That was really great. And the evolution of the deck is really exciting considering so much has happened in such a short period of time.
It's coming along.
Yeah, I love to see it. I love to see it. Really beautiful. And I think if we're ready to dive in, Jim, you're unmuted, so I'm picking on you. So
Okay, I'm gonna talk about this as a guy, and a lot of the people that you pitch to are gonna be guys. I didn't know what you were doing until about slide 10.
Okay.
When you said pattern, I thought of, herringbone, paisley. I did not think about sizing. So when you put the picture, it reminded me of my mother. She used to sew my sister's clothes when they were little, and the little pieces that she got at Fabricland and put the whole thing together. I think you need to have that pattern, that one on your first slide, because then I got what you're doing is like, well, a pattern, like a cloth has a pattern. So I really didn't understand what you meant until here, and that was. You've already, that was huge for me, that I didn't know what you were doing until I got to there.
Okay.
So that putting just that little image on the bottom right on the front slide or something would really help people click really fast.
Okay.
I guess the question that I'm still not sure about after seeing your pitch, if I'm thinking as like an investor, is what are you allowing your brands to do? Are you allowing every customer to get their own size, or are you creating a different type of sizing? And that's what I'm not exactly sure what you're doing. I understand the need. I understand that you're making clothes fit better. That's awesome. But I'm still not sure, is this a, you've measured a whole bunch of people so some of those larger sizes, what their proportions are likely to be, or have you, what exactly have you done? Like, for example, myself, I'm a swimmer, so my chest and shoulders are way bigger than proportionally the rest of me, which makes sometimes clothes fitting a little bit awkward. So, but I don't know how you really work, and so that's really what I was missing in terms of what are you trying to do for your customers? Just more specifically, what is pattern all about in the eyes of your customer, not in your eyes. So that was what I sort of took away. The other thing, I think you apologize for errors in your slide twice. Don't. Just move on, pretend it's not there, just keep going. So it's not there, you didn't see it, nothing to see here, just keep going. And so those are my comments.
Okay, thank you.
But good job.
Maureen, if you'd like to dive in. Oh, you're on mute.
Okay, I see a pattern here. Very cool company, Cheryl. I too, like Jim, I saw this in the screening, in the She Boot screening program, and I didn't get it at all because I didn't understand what market you were after. I understand patterns, but I still have some questions about your target market. How high end does your target market have to be? So when I didn't really get it until I saw the people on motorcycles. So that's very expensive gear, and it's leather or plastic or something. It has to fit pretty precisely. So then I got it. But I still don't know how high end does this have to be? So maybe explain that a little better in terms of what your target market is. And then there's something about the integration of the pattern into the manufacturing process. I think that's where your value proposition is, but you kind of breezed by that quite quickly, and I think you could probably add some value by explaining that better. And then your market forecast is pretty rapid, $500,000 to 8 million in 2 years, I think. If you could elaborate on how you would get there, like how many customers you need to have, and what are you going to build a sales team? How exactly are you going to do that? Would be some questions that I have.
Okay.
I do think it's a really cool product. I'm still sort of struggling with how to sell it, like to investors.
Yeah. That's something that Christine and I have been working on a lot, is like how to condense this very, very complicated supply chain product that is like very niche into what that opportunity is. So that's great.
Yeah. So it's things like, so the motorsports, I get the Arc'teryx. I mean, you go to the shelf and you kind of pick what you need, and usually it fits, right? It's expensive, but I mean, I don't know.
But it doesn't fit 68% of the population.
Okay, but yeah. So some brands are different fits, certain brands are sort of tall and thin, others are slight, others are, if you buy Tommy Hilfiger, I think you have to be pretty wide. If you buy Arc'teryx, you have to be fairly slim. So it allows these different brands to just widen their sizing horizon.
Yeah, so that's in phase 2. We'd be focusing on like inclusivity and allowing brands like Arc'teryx to be able to fit a broader customer. For phase 1, we're focused on brands and markets that are already in custom. So that motorcycle and PPE and fashion, there are hundreds of thousands of brands that are already doing custom. And for them, what we're focused on is this speed to market and improving their timelines. So reducing their time to manufacturing by over 900%, making them more scalable and profitable. And that's to say, like a motorcycle product is $4,000,
Yeah.
but a t-shirt or a tailored shirt is $40. So for them, that's a huge deal of improving
yeah.
their.
Well, I
their
did
timeline.
understand that's why you're going after that market,
Yeah.
and the PPE too, like firefighter suits, they must cost a fortune. So you
They
need
do.
them to fit, right? And they have to be high performance.
And they replace them every year,
Holy smokes, yeah.
and they're government funded.
Yeah, yeah. So perfect. I like where you're starting. I think that's perfect. Yeah.
But neither of the government funded or replacing every year got into your pitch when you talked about it. Maybe
Yeah,
that's
that-
how you-
So can I jump in here? So Cheryl, I think what's missing here is where's the story? You're not like we
Right.
talked about like the story, like tell the story about the firefighter, right?
Yeah.
That, here's what they go through, this is what they need, and it has to be replaced every year, and put it into your own words, right? Like if
And
you
this is what they cost.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And like kind of blow that out, because I think like I mean I've been watching this every week now for several weeks, but that's why I wanted to hear like Maureen and Jim. Like I found the same thing. It was like, what are you actually doing here? Like what's the value prop? Like is it measurements to pattern to manufacturing? Like what problem are we trying to solve? And really trying to get people to understand that by sharing through stories early on in the pitch. And I think that it should resonate better. Like
Yeah,
maybe,
like
Firefighter story might be very good because
Yeah.
everybody sort of understands that. If your firefighter splits his pants, he's gonna have smoke in there and it'll be a problem, right? His whole suit will fill up. Maybe.
I
But
think if you look at the person, and Katie and Maureen and I were on the last pitch, and she started off with a person that would be helped by her company. And I think that's what is a good way to jump into your company and what you do. And I think you do need to explain to the masses what you're doing for that firefighter. Is it matter that the firefighter then takes a bunch of measurements with a thingy, or do you just sort of, how do you turn that into something that fits him, right, or her? Yeah.
so that gets back to the original conversation we had previously, I think, around like today versus tomorrow. So you're basically, what you're saying now is you've got your tagline, like custom is the future of fashion. Okay, so what's happening today versus what's going to happen tomorrow to enable that to be the case, articulated through stories.
I'm curious because several people have said like, oh, tell the firefighter or tell the motorcycle story. But I've also had other investors that are like, you're talking too much about a direct consumer and you're a B2B brand. Like we're not selling to the end consumer. We're selling to a product development team that is focused only on saving time.
it's still your end user is a firefighter. When I first read your pitch, I thought you meant exercise gear. Like I was thinking spandex, and I really didn't understand why you'd want custom. So putting in, so maybe you talk about a fire department, but
Right.
I would put that firefighter in there, even though he's not buying the suit. Everybody knows he doesn't buy the suit. It's a government purchase, but he's got to
Or-
wear it.
Or you basically say, I want to sell to the fire department, and you put 3 images of 3 very different shaped firefighters in your pitch and say they've got to find the PPE that fits each one of these 3 people, such that when they're in an emergency, they don't have a problem. And look at how different these 3 people are. Like that might be a way of saying I'm B2B, but this is the problem I'm solving.
Yeah, if I could add a little here, because I conducted your interview, as you know, Cheryl, with Maureen. And the second we met you, But like this is more of a personal example, I guess, based on experience. We met you, you spoke about what you were doing, and you'll see this, watch this back and see how the way you can explain this so simply when someone asks you a question with examples, it's like building that bridge in your pitch because
Right.
it is a formal pitch, and right now you're so focused, there's big shifts, you're getting the facts in there, you're building all these components. So I understand that, and that's why it's great that you're at 8 minutes because you've got another 4 minutes to play
Mhm.
with. But the second you beautifully tell the story of the business by building the bridge from, first I initially had this problem because I was an athlete, and this is what I wanted to create. I created that. Then in this pitch, it was awesome to see you say we were solving our own problem and then realize this huge gap. Like I love the visual of the gap and you filling that. But there is a way to still focus on the actual B2B side while also bridging it with those personal individualized stories or the example stories like a firefighter. Because
Okay.
when you get into explaining it, you do it perfect, like you do it so well. So it's
Okay.
just about kind of building that into but yeah, I would encourage, like, when you watch this back, don't just watch your pitch, watch how you answer their questions because there's a lot of strength in there.
Okay. Thanks, Katie.
Yeah.
I guess there's another question too that you could explain maybe more clearly is whether do you build the patterns or do you just do the automation of someone else's patterns?
It's automating someone else's patterns.
Okay.
What does that mean?
It means that we take their existing patterns and we code them to work. That's what our software does, is that we set them up to code for automating the alterations of sizing. So it's called grading. And this is where I struggle with like really explaining it to investors who aren't in the industry, is that I can go into like they're going to grade all the alteration points, which is like just more lingo.
So does this mean that every single person on the production line of your firefighter PPE line, your customer, is every single one different?
Yes, it is bespoke, made to measure for every single order.
Okay, that didn't come through. I think
Okay.
use the word bespoke because again, a lot of guys understand that because they get bespoke suits. So bespoke is a good word to use because it by definition it means everyone is unique. So you're selling a faster bespoke method to be able to change the patterns. I'm trying to paraphrase it myself to
Yeah.
understand it. To clothing manufacturers in niche businesses, high-end products.
Yeah,
That only came through to me right now.
yeah, it's made to measure fit automation. And
Yes.
and that's like, but like I maybe I can use bespoke in an investor pitch, but I can't actually use bespoke because there's a very, very specific definition of bespoke that we don't meet. Because bespoke is Savile Row, which is hand tailored, and it kind of gets icky. But I'll work on that.
Bespoke is generally used more than just for men's suits these days. I've heard it used in other contexts, but I think, yeah, I mean, if you say it's kind of like bespoke, that you will have people triggered. You'll trigger
Okay.
things.
Yeah.
Made to measure is fine too.
Yeah.
Like I think Cheryl, don't kind of over rotate on the lingo that you have in your head, because no one's going to take you to task on whether that's Savile Row or not.
Yeah.
You're just trying to make a point,
Right.
right?
Yeah, but nobody in a VC is going to be hitting the record button and sending it to someone and saying,
Don't
"That's
send me
not
to the
proper
Savile
use of
Row
the word." Yeah.
I think that's great feedback, Jim. Thank you for
Yeah,
that.
super
Kinda-
helpful. Thank you.
We've been trying to figure out how to unpack that, and I think that was a really helpful discussion.
Yeah, and if you could really hurry up and get into the bridal clothing disaster that is of months and months of waiting for bridesmaids dresses and things like that, that would be really great. And then being terrified that they don't actually fit because you spent an insane amount of money, I would really appreciate that.
You know
So
what? Everybody asked me, are you going to get your wedding dress custom? And I said, hell no. I'm just buying like whatever ill-fitting thing and I'm altering it because bridal custom is a sea monster cataclysmic proportions.
yeah. And
I
even
think
now,
the industry likes it like that too.
They do.
Like that
It's a
industry.
gatekeeping.
That's what they
like,
want.
It's gatekeeping. It does
Drama.
lead into the luxury of it. Like it's secret and hidden.
Yeah.
well, the bridesmaids don't want it anymore. So the bridesmaids want it out of there anyways.
If you're looking, I got resources. You let me know.
Okay, deal. Awesome. Okay, thank you so much, Cheryl. That
Thank
was
you.
fantastic. Thank you to our investors too. And Stephanie, we're ready for yours.